Hey, what's happening, folks? Happy day. Welcome over to the DFS 5-pack. It's a little different over there trying to roll from his phone today. Had a few technical issues with the internet, so hopefully that will get resolved soon. Clearly, we have no control over the internet, so I wish we did. That would mean we're real power players, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty annoying though, man. Having the internet go out nowadays is annoying, but having it stay out for like 12 hours is frustrating. But we do what we got to do. And I'm on my phone.
All right, guys. Go hop on overlay today. The progressive jackpots are back up and ready to roll since we got 3 games to go with. They keep climbing back up there, and people keep getting really close on them. It's a little bit more predictable in the NBA playoffs, so it's a great opportunity to win these perfect 12-0 records. I mean, I know I've had 10-2, 11-1 a couple different times already. It can be done. They've given away some of these jackpots. It's a great opportunity to get that real money.
Yeah, let's get it, man. I know that for me, I've been like, one pick short of the cash like every time. So it just makes me want to get it more the next time.
As far as DK goes today, I got a point that I know you will be on board with. I think it's a great day to get weird and focus on GPPs. I love cash games in NBA, always have. Find NBA to be very predictable, and it's been a lot of fun doing it in the playoffs. Today's series are a little bit weird, though. You got a couple of games, in my opinion, that are highly set up for blowouts, especially if the Milwaukee Bucks get rolling early. No Dame for the Blazers just puts them in a really bad spot against the Lakers team that's really continuing to roll. We do have one game, though, that should be a lot of fun to watch, the Rockets and the Thunder. But I think it's a good day to get a little weird in GPPs, make a couple random baseball picks.
I definitely agree with that. And I love this Thunder Rocket series. It's my favorite series of the playoffs so far. I've used a lot of pieces each slate, and I'm excited to break it down.
All right, guys, go grab a day pass if you are interested. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Thumbs up is appreciated. The write-up comes out to look like this. Let's start out with one of these guys from the Portland Trailblazers. So we got CJ still playing with an injury. No Dame tonight. We got Whiteside playing next to Nurkic. Things are weird for the Blazers right now. One of the guys I'm looking at, and I'll be honest, it's more in the GPP mold than the cash game mold because I quite frankly don't know what the Blazers' intentions are this evening, but is Super Mario Hezonja of the Portland Trailblazers. We know there's no Collins. We know there's no Dame. They're going to have to get different with their lineup tonight. And we've watched Super Mario have some really nice moments before and absolutely let down the masses many times as well. So I don't, in my eyes, have great predictability feelings about what to expect out of him tonight. But if there was a guy that I thought had the possibility to 10x tonight while also giving you the possibility of 1xing, it would probably be Mario Hezonja of the Portland Trailblazers. This would give you cap space for Giannis or Harden, for anybody else that you're looking for, because he is very cheap, available at the 3 and the 4. I don't trust him, but I am intrigued by the upside, I will say.
Yeah, definitely not a guy you can trust, but when you've got studs like we have on today's slate and not any value plays, like because we've seen in the playoffs, rotations are shorter. There's only 3 games. The teams are obviously good because they're in the playoffs. We don't have a lot of value pieces to stud up. You see people kind of use whatever value. There's a couple chalk pieces every day, and those pieces get a ton of love. I think Hezonja goes kind of under the radar a little bit. People have a bad stigma attached to him. They don't necessarily want to play him. But I'm with you. They're going to need offense today. I mean, they got to do whatever they have to do to win this game. If Hezonja is playing well, he's going to get run here. It's obviously risky, but the upside's real because he's a guy that can make shots.
Yeah, and I don't know what happens in this game. Do they keep playing him if it's a blowout? Do they go full scrum? How bad is it? I definitely expect the Lakers to win this game. By how much, we'll see. So again, I'm going to try to get weird with it in a couple of GPPs today. Probably lower my cash game buy-ins for the day. And he's somebody that I want to play in at least one of my GPPs, knowing that, I don't know, he got his shot going last game. Maybe he's a little bit more aggressive and confident this game. Or maybe that lineup crashes and burns because we've all had that happen to us with Mario Hezonja before.
Amen.
All right, so I'm going to roll over to the Thunder and Rockets game, and a game I know you've been looking at a lot. I want to give both teams credit for playing some quality defense in this series, but at the same time, if you're looking for predictability, this is the game that I think most people, I know you're probably with me on this one, would trust to be competitive and close. It's been a very good series so far. Rockets went up 2-0. Thunder come firing back. I'm excited to watch this game today. So I'm looking at Dennis the Menace Schroeder right now, who's really picked up his aggressiveness and effectiveness the last 2 games. He shot 8 of 21 from 3 over the last 3, which is, it's not great, but it's solid for a guy who's a very mediocre 3-point shooter. But what that does is also get the defender up on him, and you've watched him be able to get to the hole a little bit easier. And I like PJ Tucker. I like Jeff Green. But this is not Hassan Whiteside, Rudy Gobert, Brook Lopez defending the rim or anything like that. He's a very quick little guy who can get to the rim at will when there is no rim protector. So he's coming off 2 really good games in a game that's mostly predictable. I'm sure you're a fan of this guy because you always are.
Yeah, man, I love Schroeder. I like all 3 of the OKC guards here. We'll get into it more on members only, but we've seen kind of changing of the guard, no pun intended, in OKC. All 3 of these guys are playing really well, and I like all of them today. Schroeder is probably the best value simply because he's the cheapest.
I'm going to correct you on something there. I do think pun was intended.
Okay, fair enough. Pun was intended.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's move over to Milwaukee and Orlando in a game that this is another one where the Bucks have gotten up a lot the last 3 games and let the Magic back into the game routinely. I think Giannis probably garners a lot of love tonight, and I have no arguments with that, right? He's as predictable as they come from a superstar in a situation like this. But I'm looking, again, to get a little weirder in GPPs today, and it's hard to get super weird on a 3-game slate because everybody gets a little bit of ownership. But check out Chris Middleton for 7,800. He's definitely had some struggles throughout the series, and if you look through his field goal percentage for a guy who's a 50, 40, 90 guy this year or damn near close to it, it has not been great. However, he's coming off a monster 4th quarter against the Orlando Magic. His shot started to look pure. He started to play with confidence again. And if you watched the Clippers and Dallas Mavericks game last night, you saw the Clippers feeding Paul George because he actually started to play well for once. So that's more of a strategic move. It's like playing chess, right? Like if the Bucks want to beat the Heat and move along in the Eastern Conference playoffs, they need Chris Middleton to play well. So if he hits a couple shots early, I think you could actually see him get a higher usage rate than normal. I think you could see Bledsoe and Giannis feeding him to get him rolling because they need him confident and ready to rock for the next series. I think you might be muted or we might be having internet connections.
Yeah, we're back now.
Okay. What were your thoughts on Middleton?
I love Middleton today. I liked Paul George more than you did yesterday. We didn't even talk about it. That's kind of a Matt and Ryan thing. I love your point about, it's not even your point. The point that if they want to beat Miami, they're going to need Chris Middleton because all of a sudden in the playoffs, you look at these teams and you're like, Milwaukee has Giannis, obviously, the best player in the series. But then Miami has Bam and Butler and Dragic is playing well, and Middleton is not playing well. They need him to play well. He started to look good at the end of that Orlando game. I have a feeling that, Milwaukee isn't going to play around. They know they got to finish off this series here, but they also know that they're much better than Orlando, and they should make a concerted effort to get Middleton going here.
Yeah, coming off a monster 4th quarter, I think there's a chance that we see that today. And also, you don't need 350 to win tournaments today, right? Like if Middleton goes for 45 DK points, while that's not great off of 7,800, that's the kind of thing that could be in tournament lineups.
Definitely. So the other thing about that is, one, you're right that scores are lower now. I mean, I had a really good day a couple of days ago with 291, really good day. So that's all you need to know. And the other thing about Middleton, like you mentioned, if he has 45, if Middleton has 45, or 45 to 50, that probably means Giannis isn't going absolute ape shit. And that other reason I like Middleton is because it's a little bit of leverage off of Giannis.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go crazy leverage, stack Bledsoe and Middleton and skip Giannis, or stack Lopez and Middleton and skip Giannis or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But you get it.
Definitely. All right, last up, we're going to go right back to OKC against Houston. Let's make the most boring play of the day. I think there's reasons to like and love everybody else that we've talked about, but if you're just looking to make a lineup today, there's nobody at the center position I consider a must. This is not one of those days where Jokic or Embiid's in the crush spot and you got to stud up. So take a look at PJ Tucker at 4,300. Very dependable, very boring. Not the kind of play that's going to win you tournaments more than likely unless he goes insane from 3-point range. But the guy's got 18.5 to 27 DK points in every game this series. He always plays monster minutes because they need some kind of size in the middle. He has a bunch of open threes as they put their terrific defender Dort on Harden, try to cover up the lane from Eric Gordon from driving to it. Wide open 3 after wide open 3. The other games have potential blowouts, but we both agree. We expect Houston and OKC to be competitive, and PJ Tucker is just kind of that filler piece at a weaker than normal center position.
Yeah, he's he is like a cog in the machine filler piece. I mean, especially on a slate like this where we don't have a lot of cheaper options. You know, on a Friday night NBA regular season slate, like might not go here because there'd probably be 5 other guys that are 4,300 that could put up 30 plus. He's not that guy. But on a slate like this, we just talked about scores being lower. This game's going to be close. Speaking of this game, who do you think wins this game and this series?
Houston.
I'll give you my take.
Houston wins this game. OKC wins game 6, and then we have a bloodbath in game 7. I don't know who wins.
I think OKC wins the next 2.
All right, a bit aggressive. I like that. Houston's going to win today, though.
And it has much more to do with OKC for me than Houston. Like, Houston's fine. I do agree with you, though. Like, it seems like Harden's getting lost in one-on-one ball a little bit, and they're not, they've played good defensively, but I don't think they're all quite there offensively. And OKC, I really like the cut of their jib, and they won't win in the next round when the team's a little bit better, but I think they can get by Houston.
So I was talking about this. There's a guy that I see on a regular basis because he's the customer at the bartending place that I work at a little bit. And he's like a basketball coach, so he likes talking basketball with me. And we were talking about the problem with Houston. Like, I'm all for if you want to like really rely on the 3-point shooting like Houston does, but to the point where James Harden dribbles for 12 seconds, never gets into the lane, and then just settles for the step back 3. There's been too much of that this series. Like, I know that you can make that shot, but let's at least try to have a better quality possession and use that. If you get the ball with 8 seconds left, fine. But don't sit there when you get the ball with 20 seconds left, dribble for 12 seconds, and then just, rely on the step back 3.
Agreed. I also think the other guys for Houston have played like really well in this series. So if they don't play well in a game, like they're screwed, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it seems like he's so badly wants to do it his way, as opposed to let Eric Gordon get to the lane. He's been doing a great job. Jeff Green, Daniel House, the guys are all playing well around you.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Gordon looks great right now. Like, they would be smart to really get him going because
not shooting.
The other thing he just looks good. He looks in shape. He looks like he's getting to the hole. You mentioned that point about his paint points. And the other thing is, like, they can't look ahead, but like their goal is not to win the first round against OKC. Like, their goal is to go deep in the playoffs. And they're not playing good enough ball to do that. I know they're missing Westbrook, but still they're not.
Yeah, I heard Houston let them win the last 2 games just to give them more time so Westbrook can come back for the next series. No, I'm just kidding. I did not hear that. That's not happening.
I mean, listen, I will say, like, when Westbrook comes back, that's obviously a big piece, so you never know.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be big for them, guys. So, all right, that's what we got for today. Thank you very much. See you for some baseball later on.
Thanks, guys.